things, all those put together, you need another 4 crores. So for that you have got to raise borrowings also. So 3,87 crores of rupees are coming as borrowings, and to that extent there will be a fiscal deficit and the budget deficit. The fiscal deficit is 3.48 crores. It's not a very unhappy situation, because okay, the overall budgeted income is about 12 crores on which the budgetary deficit is about 3.8 crores. Is that very much? It's not very much. We don't consider this very much. And we try to measure this deficits as a percentage of the GDP. As far as India is concerned, some of us honestly believe, government may say all that, but the comparison of the GDP for the purpose of fiscal deficits or budget deficits are not very important. Within the 4 walls, of course, there is only we can say why it is not very important. What is the GDP? Who is deciding what is the GDP? What measures we have to correctly assess the GDP? So GDP is worked out by the statistical department from various resources. What is the gross domestic product? Some of us believe many productive areas and valuation of many things are not going into the GDP. I am inclined to believe the GDP has to be a little more higher, at least 20-30% higher. Really, if information could be had, because you have a parallel economy also. So many items of production, distribution are all not being accounted properly. So we say 5.5% is the fiscal deficit is on the GDP, and last year it was 6.9%. And we need to, in the fiscal management policy act which Government of India has set for, they want to bring down the fiscal deficit slowly. By 2011-12 they would have brought to zero if there was no economic recession. We want to have a budgetary system whereby the fiscal deficit is brought to zero. We are committed to that. But economic recession has upset all that. So we have 5.5% fiscal deficit now of GDP. Next year it could be 4.8, and thereafter it may be 4.1. Then we want to slowly bring it down to the next 2-3 years to 0%. Well, that's good enough, but we need not unduly be worried about fiscal deficit. In a growing economy, management students need to know that. So I'll be only talking to you on this. In a growing economy, fiscal deficit is very important. It requires to be managed. You need that. You need to have that kind of borrowings. You need to have increasing amount of capital expenditure. If you take all the plan expenditure together, it is about 3,68,000 crores, and the non-plan expenditure is 7,62,000 crores. We would like to have a regime whereby what should be the Government of India's budget. This is what we look at. The Government of India's budget is only 11,100,000 crores. I'm not very happy about it. You look at the US budget at a time when they are virtually bankrupt. In terms of financial, as I told you, in terms of financial analysis, US is virtually bankrupt. They are in huge debt. They have been in deficits year after year. Their balance of payments showed huge deficit with every nation, even with India. India has a $7 billion export surplus with US. That's how the nation is operating on somebody else's money, because all our foreign exchange reserves, I told you, these trillions, billions, all these foreign exchange reserves are getting invested substantially in US treasuries and stock by all the nations, because they believe that is the only strong nation where you have put in money. So they get the capital receipts, which they don't even consider as borrowing, because we have $285 billion, we have put $160 billion in US, they hardly pay us 1.2% interest on that. That way they have got huge amounts from all the nations, so they feel they are sitting on a pile of money, they are not just bothered about that. So they don't bother about deficit financing, because whenever they have a deficit, they go on printing notes. We never do that. We are very cautious about that. They just print notes and they manage the economy like that. That's what they have been managing, because they have reserves, they could do that. And look at their economy. Last year's budget, it was this current budget, what was presented about a month back, $3.9 trillion is the budget, of which deficit is $1.2 trillion. 1/3 is, 33% is the deficit. We are talking about 5%, 8%, amazing. They are not bothered about that. They are very sure when the economy builds up and grows, they can cover up all that. But look at their budget, $3.9 trillion, 240 million people. What is $3.9 trillion? We will try to convert that. It is something like 170 lakhs crores. That's the annual budget. And what's our budget? 11 lakhs crores. So their national budget is 15, 16 times bigger than ours. And their population is 240 million. After all, it's all for the people. No? The economy cannot, it's all for the people. 240 million people have 170 lakhs worth of annual budget, and here is 1,200 million people. with hardly 11 lakhs budget. But what to do? We would also like to have budget. I would like to have our budget something today, 25,000 or 30,000, 2 times or 3 times. That ought to be because of the investments that we need. We need that. We need how much investment we need? We need 20 lakhs crores on infrastructure alone. We need another 20 crores on agriculture. We need 25-30 crores on social security measures. We need all that. But where is the money for all that? We don't have that kind of money. So what the finance minister does? The finance minister, whatever money he has, he sets about 1.47 lakhs out of his 11 lakhs. 1.47 lakhs crores to defense, 1.73 crores to infrastructure, 1.38 crores to social security, then health, education, all together another 30, rural development 94, some. Now this is not really what we really need. So you see the budgetary constraints, we need much more. 3 times, 4 times we need, but we don't have the money. So within that budget, we try to bring in all that we can. It's a management. We don't have the money. So imagine you need to run a house, you need so much of money, 500,000 rupees a year, and you hardly have 2 lakhs of rupees a year. Instead of 5 lakhs you want, you cut down on this, you cut down on this. So this is the situation. So but still, compared to what we are far off now. We should also be like China. China has almost reached a stage where today they are getting funds at least 60 to 70% of what they need. But our annual budget is only perhaps 1/3, you see, of what we need. Now we need to grow. And that's why, because of what happens, our infrastructure is so very bad. This is our infrastructure is so, we don't have 1 kilometer road of international standard. We don't have 1 kilometer rail of international standard. We don't have an airport of international standard. We don't have a seaport of international standard. We don't have a bridge, highway, anything of international standard. We don't have 1 kilowatt power of international quality. We don't have 1 pot of water of international quality. Nothing of international quality. Not to say of the riches. And we are all well. We ordinary Louis Philippe shirt of 700, 800 million, ordinary watch for some 1,500, 2,000, ordinary shoes for 800, 900 rupees that way. No, that's not those in the advanced countries. What is the way they for them consumption means what? He probably a comparable chartered accountant or a businessman of our standing and all that. It's different. And he has to have a Cartier glass, which will cost at least 5 lakhs of rupees. He must have a Rolex watch, at least 15 to 18 lakhs. He must have a Puma shoe, which will be at least 2 lakhs of rupees. Everything has to be like that. You will throw it away. You will use it for 1 year, 2 years, and next the other Rolex, because his car has to be absolutely undoubtedly, it has got to be either BMW or Mercedes, and he has to show that he has, otherwise he is not recognized. You go into a chief executive's room or a conference center without Cartier glass and without the Rolex watch and without your car key of that brand, Benz and all that, you are not recognized. See, that's how consumption goes up. But we have basic necessities. Fortunately, 350, 400 million people have a little bit of basic necessity. Another 100, 150 having some little 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 rupees to make both ends meet. Unfortunately, we have another 300 million people who have nothing. This is the economy we are talking about. This budget doesn't reach. We have 250, 300 million people, 25, 30% who have nothing. Practically nothing. They are unorganized, they have no job, nothing. So the responsibility is now what? So the budget every year you prepare 5-year plans, all economic planning is what? Planning is for security. Our objective is security. Now security, what you have got to do? You have got to give life security. You have got to give him property security. You have to give him food security. You have to give him water security. You have to give him health security. You have to give him income security. All these ordinary people need. They also have the need. And what do they have? They have nothing. You allow them to go on. Where do you reach? This doesn't take you anywhere. Now this is how the problem, you see, in the budgeting and all. So we have now understood. That's why I say we do this year after year. We do that. We somehow try to manage the budget and all that. We try to keep everyone. We now realize unless economy cannot grow, the budget is a stimulant, is an instrument which has to encourage and enthuse everyone. The industrialists must produce more, the agriculturists must produce more, the service sector should do more, everyone should do more, but the students should study well, students should excel, and they should create their own jobs, they must generate employment, They are not to go and take employment only. You have to generate your own employment, but where that is available, that is not available. This is it. So therefore, all these stimulus, therefore what do you find? What do you find in the budget? Numbers I told you. What is the objectives of the budget? I will take you quickly through the objectives of the budget. You see, this is it. We need to have to consolidate our growth. As I told you, we are growing, but we must sleep. We have to grow many times, faster, much faster. In every areas we need to be. So most important is to grow and consolidate your growth through many things. And then improve the investment environment. Corporate investment has to grow. Government investment has to grow. And individual investment has to go. Everyone has to invest. You have got to invest what little we can. You have got to invest and we take the investment forward. Export promotion has to be achieved. We need to generate income. Is money has to come. You can't get foreign investment all the time only by way of borrowings. So you have got to sell your products. You have to sell your services. So export growth, the promotion is extremely important. The next area is agricultural growth. This is one area where we have failed. Another area we have hope. In agriculture, we don't know what to do about it. How to grow? We do not know. We are completely stuck. Last year, the budget says last year's agriculture, we thought we will grow at least 2%, but it is minus 2%. Last year they said in the budget agriculture we must touch 4% growth. And we thought we will touch at least 2% growth. There are a lot of problems, Rabi crop failure and all that you heard in the budget. But we are minus 2%. From minus 2% we want to at least go to 4%. But 4% is not what we have to grow. Agriculture is an area where you study for what we are. We should grow at least 10% annually. China is growing at 13-14%. And they are not cultivating even 2/3 of the Arab area. We are cultivating. So we are not using proper seeds. We don't have proper technology. We don't have adequate manures. We don't have adequate irrigation facilities. We have no harvesting facilities. We have no storage facilities. We have no warehousing facilities. We have no transportation facilities. We have no distribution system. We can't prevent rodent losses and all that, and all because of this our lands are subdivided, land legislation is affecting it. Nobody has more than 30 acres, 40 acres here. Elsewhere in every country you have got people cultivating 30,000 acres, 50,000 acres, 100,000 acres farms, cooperative farms, corporate farms. Agriculture is an industry, agriculture is a cooperative effort. We don't need to cut it down and this, and we are converting everywhere agriculture lands into non-agricultural. You say agriculture is not economical. 200,000 farmers have committed suicide in less than 2 years. What is all this? And this is the area, 70% of our economy is agriculture, 70% of the people are living on agriculture. And this is what, when we hear, what do we have? He says, this time he says in the budget, four-pronged strategy. Agricultural production should improve. How will he improve? He says he will give 4 crores for green revolution. He will go to 300 crores. This 4 crores and 400 crores and 300 crores are peanuts. Not mere peanuts, it is double peanuts. That's not what we want. Reduction in wastage of produce, credit support to farmers.